I believe that the coming presidential election will be smooth and peaceful. And the coming election is not the first free election after we conduct political reform in 1998. We have done 3 presidential elections, we have done 3 legislative elections, and more than 2,300 regional elections. And surprisingly, no casualty whatsoever, and all have been done very smooth and peacefully. This indicates that Indonesian democracy has experienced a series of consolidations, and the political party, the political elite has becoming very major. And moreover, if we take a look at what happened at the moment, the main theme of the debate for the presidential election won't be race, won't be religion or ideology. The debate will focus on economy. So we can expect a healthy and interesting, productive debate during the coming presidential election. Of course, if we take a look at what happened in the social media, there are a lot of noises. Social media is always very noisy, and oftentimes it doesn't reflect what happened in the ground. I think debate on economics is very productive. It's a war between ideas, competing ideas between one camp to another. And what will happen at the end is, the best ideas will win because the people will vote, will support those ideas. Different with, racial or religious debate, often it will bring others, negative aspect into the election. Yeah, why rupiah depreciating and the value decreased almost 9% over the last 1 year? Because we face a perfect storm at the moment. What I call perfect storm is at the same time trade war happened. Secondly, at the same time, the Fed plan to keep continuing increase the interest rate, and at the same time, crisis happened in Argentina and in Turkey. And what happened is investor often cannot differentiate between Turkey and Indonesia. They think that we are emerging market. We have a lot of similarity, even though the situation at the moment is so much different. If we take a look at the macroeconomic parameter, the political situation, we are much better than Turkey. So it is very important for Indonesian government and Indonesian business community to keep informing the global investor, global economic player that those perception is not justified. The situation at the moment is very different with the situation back to 1998. Nowadays, we have a solid banking system. Our corporations, has a healthy and sound debt to equity ratio. The proportion of external debt, whether it is in the government as well as in the private sector, is relatively sound. It's somewhat different. Back to 1998, Indonesian corporations heavily indebted with foreign debt. Property bubble happened. Our banking system was weak. We don't have solid and comprehensive regulation on how to anticipate if crisis happen. All of this negativity is not happening at the moment. Yeah, in the short term, of course, the central bank will continue its effort to stabilize rupiah through market intervention as well as by raising the interest rate. They would like to keep their stance ahead of the curve, meaning they will be very proactive in responding what happened in the global economy. While at the same time, the government would like to improve our current account situation by reducing import and promoting more export. For example, the government just announced the increase in tariff for importation of certain goods. The government also would like to delay several strategic mega infrastructure projects if they have significant import component. The government would like also to reduce the importation of oil by putting more CPO in a diesel fuel. It will have a significant impact. I think the action, the encouragement for the exporter to bring the US dollar back to Indonesia and then converting to rupiah will certainly help rupiah from keep depreciating further. However, the policy in this area is not final yet. Discussion between the government and the business community is still going on, and we'll see what's the final result very soon. I think one very important strategy for the government to maintain a stable economic growth and a stable rupiah is to attract more FDI. It's not only FDI but high quality FDI that has export focus, because that will help our current account. That's why the government conduct various policy reform with main target to improve the investment climate in Indonesia. The government has introduced policy to create a more attractive tax scheme for FDI investors. The government just announced regulation on a permit for foreign worker, which is currently it is much easier than in the past, and various other things. And when we are talking about policy reform, it is not really helpful if the policy we introduce is not aligned with the need of the business community. That's why we, the government, involve business community in the policy making process. We engage with the business community in various, healthy, open, and transparent discussion in the policy making process. And in fact, many of the good policy reforms are the outcome of the input from the business community. So the government of Indonesia at the moment has a very good attitude. They would like to listen to the voice of the business community.